Hello and welcome. I live in Maine, and if like me you don't ski, snowmobile, snowshoe, or ice fish, there isn't really a lot to do up here in the winter. Last year when it wasn't unbearably cold, I would take my LL Bean Approach rigid mountain bike out for a spin around the neighborhood. I've had it since new in 1994, and yeah, I've upgraded a few things, but it is still pretty much an old school mountain bike. The thing is, I wasn't crazy about riding it on the messy roads and potentially damaging it with road salt after having held onto it for so long. So I decided to get a fat bike for winter off-road use this season. And here it is, a brand new Mongoose Dolomite. I bought this on Wal-Mart.com for $279 US with 2-day delivery to a nearby store. As was the case with the Mongoose XR Pro I bought from Walmart.com last year, the Dolomite was fully and well assembled when I took delivery at the Augusta, Maine store. I have also bought 3 bikes off the rack, as it were, at Walmart in the past couple of years. I've linked to my first look at the Dolomite and the other 3 bikes at the end of this video. It seems to be well constructed, and I do like the glossy black and bright blue color scheme. But as much as I enjoy bikes, I wanted to be sure I like winter riding before I put a lot of money into this. I freely admit that a big part of the attraction for me is the low price. But the proof is in the pudding, as the saying goes. I took the Dolomite out for a shakedown ride at the Hallowell Reservoir Trails in Hallowell, Maine. I did several laps on the Piney Woods Loop Trail just to get used to the bike, get a feel for it, and see if anything needed tweaking. Nothing did. I come from a roadie background, so when I started riding mountain bikes on a regular basis this past spring, there was a bit of a steep learning curve. And I figured that the fat bike would pretty much ride like any other of my mountain bikes, particularly my other rigid, the aforementioned Approach. Well, it did and it didn't. And there is still a bit of a learning curve. Let me explain. It mostly rides like you would expect any rigid mountain bike to ride, which is to say, it's a workout. There's a lot of pumping and bouncing and active participation involved in riding over rocks and roots and whatnot, since the rider basically is the suspension. But with no suspension bob, it's an okay climber, although it could be better. More on that later. Then there is the handling. Those huge tires, especially in the front, dramatically affect the handling. There seemed to be sort of a gyroscopic effect up front. My guess is that it's due to the extra rotating mass. It wasn't a bad feeling, just different from what I'm used to. I was running the tires at 15 psi, so they did tend to cushion some of the jolts, which was another interesting sensation. Again, not bad, just different. And those big tires running fairly low pressures have a lot of grip, despite having relatively widely spaced lugs. Once I got used to the gyroscopic effect, I found myself liking the way the bike turns. I do have to lean in a little bit more than I'm used to for slow speed turns, but when the lugs catch, it really tracks well. I can hardly wait to try it on snow, see how that works. So, if there is one area in which the bike needs improvement, it's climbing. Now, I'm not saying it climbs badly, but frankly, the bike's rather heavyweight, and the 28-tooth low gear do make for a pretty good workout. I feel this bike could use a 30, maybe 32-tooth front chainring instead of the stock 36-tooth. Alternately, I've used Shimano MegaRange 34-tooth freewheels on other bikes with good results, so that's also a possibility. All in all, the bike pretty much met my expectations. I have no hesitation whatsoever in recommending the Mongoose Dolomite as a budget-friendly bike for getting into fat biking. Now you have to realize there are compromises. It's heavy and it's not the most high-end equipped bike around, but for under $300, it's a pretty good deal. I also have no problem recommending Walmart as the source, since I haven't had a bad experience with the online or brick and mortar, so to speak, sourced bikes I've purchased. Yeah, I know, I'm swimming against the current on that, but it's my honest opinion based upon personal experience. If you like this video, please leave me a thumbs up and click on subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to see my first look at the Dolomite, click on the link below left. And below right is a link to my 3-bike Wal-Mart clearance haul last spring. As always, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it when you do. Bye.